Yep.
There's gotta be. Do you need a chair? I feel like you are struggling. Hold on.
Struggling.
No one gets the struggle right now. Sitting here trying to make a 9-year-old Alienware act right.
I sit here every day trying to get a 9-year-old to act right.
Same energy.
Yeah, pretty much. Except there's Alien where it doesn't talk back.
I think we're live.
Oh, really? No holding screen with cool music or anything.
Oh, that's what I was
just
trying to
straight
do earlier this week, but all right.
Straight in dry Sterling.
Raw dog. I know that second stream was crazy, right?
Oh wait, are we live?
Yeah.
Surprise.
Hi.
Motherfucker.
Okay.
So, yeah,
all right, hold on.
Took
40 minutes. It's fine.
40.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. This is fine.
Dell, if you're watching, hook a brother up.
Find where the hell I'm supposed
Hi,
to
everybody. We did a thing.
Eventually.
It's about.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll let people get here. We'll post link around places and things and stuff.
I will say, once it gets going, excellent collection. Or connection. Ooh, how many of these have I had?
Not enough. Keep going.
Yeah, nowhere
Keep
near
going.
enough.
Keep going. So yeah, we did Armed and Ready, you guys. It's finally done. It took a long time because people got busy with shit.
How about nowish?
You were a little quiet. Oh yeah, you see. I see. You see.
You got to be quicker than that.
Everybody asked. This one's Isla.
Over there.
How did I know it'd be
cemetery?
Rain and Hearth at it straight away in the chat?
That we were recording apparently.
All right, so I went through all this trouble. Let's see if this works.
I mean, you got the names
I
right.
unplugged my headphones. It was super good.
That's a start.
So, I mean, this is a good plug to let everybody know to always watch our videos because way back in the day, this happened.
In the past. I won't anymore.
Yeah, it did.
And we both read them. We know your sister is headed to
Oh, there's
Missouri.
no audio.
I love
Huh?
background music.
There is. A,
Where?
I think you
Okay.
probably just got YouTube muted.
Yes.
Okay, whatever. I tried.
You did. No, it worked.
It worked. It worked okay.
Okay.
It worked. So, anyway, I teased that we were covering the song.
Yeah, that was the tease.
I asked if I was allowed to do that before I did it. But yeah, so we decided to cover this song very shortly after we did This Will Be the Day, yeah?
I don't remember.
It all
Yeah, we
bleeds
were talking-
together. I don't know.
I know, it was a lot. So yeah, that was our choice.
It was Darcy's choice, wasn't it?
It was absolutely Darcy's choice because I have a weakness for badass children. So, and I had not at that point. I think I was up to maybe volume 2 in reactions, so I was not familiar with the song at all. And when we were talking about it, I was like, well, let me throw it on in the car because I listened to it while I was at work, and then at that point I had an hour commute every day, one way, so 2 hours total. So I was like, on my way home, I'll go ahead and listen to it and see if it's like reasonable because we were concerned vocal range wise. that was going to be easy for me because it has a lot of the same notes that this will be the day did. Luckily, they're set up in a way where it's easier for me to get up in my belt range, so that was nice. But yeah, it on my end it was good, so I gave it the green light, and we talked about it a little bit, and we got started. So
Yeah, I mean the vocals weren't the only worry because it's
oh no,
extremely
for sure.
complex on many levels.
Yes, and then Bruce wanted to do some aggressive horn arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and originally, you guys who were in Discord will remember, we learned a lot in this recording process, including how to and how not to do brass parts and things. So lessons learned.
I mean,
and yeah, but yeah, it was crazy. It was really good. I think Sterling probably had the easiest time of it of anybody here, other than trying to wrangle Jason, which is always a job in and of itself.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a whole other ballpark.
Yeah, Jason, one of his nicknames is Animal, like the Muppet, and that's a really valid nickname. He broke at some point during our band practices, I know he broke at least 4 sets of drumsticks just in practice.
oh,
He
don't
always
forget.
had like,
I was gonna say, don't forget when he bled all over his snare that one time.
yes, twice actually. So
Damn.
indeed. But yeah, so that was definitely my end of things. How are things on your end, Paul?
Oh, holy shit! This has been an experience, hasn't it? So when did the last one drop? Was it October, November? last
It
year?
was late September, early October,
September.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while that we've been working on it for. It's just a really complicated song. You know, there's
Yes.
a hell of a lot of layers to it. I mean, what were we pushing in the end? 150 tracks?
Yeah, I mean,
something ridiculous.
yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
was
to
a
make
lot.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Boy, babe.
yeah. Listen, if you just have to phone it in, you know. Some
Well,
of us have to
that's
spend half of our lives.
that actually. So we had some. You had some MIDI, Paul, that you.
Yeah,
Found.
so I had a chart, which
Yes.
was, yeah, this is the simplified version. Let's get a scratch track together that we can work from.
So Sterling, being a professional who plays what is written, played what was written on this simplified track, which was not what we were looking for. And Paul, I don't know about Bruce, but Paul and I were just like,
Hey.
knowing what this man is capable of. So we were like, hey, no, you can go a little crazy with it. He was like, cool. And then he came back with the amazingness that you guys hear in the song. So his entire contribution was incredible, and yet took a fraction of the time of everyone else's, because, you know, he's a pro, literally.
Well, no, the best part of that was when Paul basically just said, "Did you just like sight read the written part?" It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's when you know.
you're
When
supposed to do
somebody
other
says,
stuff.
did you sight read this?
Just supposed to do other stuff. It's a guide. Like, oh, okay.
But yeah, I just want to do a special shout out to Cheryl, because I know a lot of you know her and I were in a 90s cover band. When was this? 20
We were I was in the band from 2010 on, but you joined in 2012, which is when the band really started to me, when you and Jason joined.
Okay.
So that was 2012 to 2013. It was really only about 18 months, which seems insane now, but
Yeah, but there's videos on YouTube. I might have to release those. But just seeing where she was then, and then, you know, because of work, she put it on the shelf, stopped doing it. But then maybe, 2 years ago, you picked up vocal stuff back up, and then just right back into it?
dude, it was more than that. So I stopped singing after Flannel ended in 2013. I did some 80s synth pop stuff where I co-wrote and sang on 2 tracks with some guys, and that was 2014, and then early 2015, and then This Will Be the Day was the first time I sang in any like actual capacity in about 5 years. So this was a jump. And also it's not in my range. But I made it work. I hope so. But yeah, no, it was Yeah, and I think we would have probably been done with this quicker, if not for a lot of patience on everyone's part with my work and personal situation got real weird around October, and everybody was extremely patient with that. So I appreciate
Although
that.
I
very
would
much,
I would
guys.
argue some of that worked in our favor a little bit.
Yeah.
True,
So
true.
especially pretty much everything after started the second verse on, I recorded after a really rough time at work in which my office was getting like, I don't want to say death threats, but like death threats. And I was unexpectedly ejected from my house after a breakup. So that felt really good. And I think that I don't know that I would ever be able to do that again. I think that was a lightning in a bottle thing because I was like real mad, but like real determined to still do good. So I hope that came across because it definitely felt like it came across. It felt better after I did it for sure. So
Hearth said, Sterling, is that it? Was one of the first things I saw ever on Discord.
yeah.
I mean, the man's calling out there, Sterling. Ended your whole career.
You guys.
I just want to say though, holy shit, that bass line. And also Paul, you guys, the level of notice on that solo was
Oh, trust.
incredibly low. And that man can play a fucking guitar. That man can fucking mix a recording. That man can do a lot of shit. So
Oh, there's been plenty of times, even in the other tune, where it was like, oh, we need to add something. It's like, all right, hold on a minute, and like 8 minutes later, it's like, okay, Google Drive. And, you know, it's
Please
like, all
hold.
right,
it's
check,
insane.
please hold. Okay, check that mix. Okay, now go back. And so,
Yeah, I think
7 time zones of stupidity.
Yeah, we need that to be less, Bruce. Fix that for us. There's a lot of time zones. Yeah, it's crazy. And then Bruce wrote the fuck out of those parts, which I think is really which differentiates. I mean, we'll talk about the our cool little interlude and stuff we did, but I think the way those horns hit is what really differentiates this from the original.
So
Sure.
what's weird about those is so some of those parts are already written out, but some of them weren't. So some things were having to take background vocals and turning them into horn parts, but making sure that you could still hear the actual background vocals.
Mhm.
Some of it was taking Jeff's guitar lines and turning them into horn stuff, which is a ridiculous feat anyway. And then but there's some software that I got that the type of horns that it is very much Tower of Power. Like everything is in your face. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to mess around with a bunch of different stuff. We're just going to do in your face all the time and turn it
Yeah.
down because
Yeah.
it has the right sound. So
Mm-hmm.
Go
Alright,
big or go home.
Real quick.
Yeah, I mean this.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say this song is the definition of "Go Big or Go Home." I mean that's like the thesis statement of this song. So
I actually ended up when I was mastering the stuff like over that one last weekend, I started taking stuff out left and right because it's like, okay, it's one thing to have like say 6/4 parts doing harmonies, and it's another thing to have those 6/4 parts also being doubled by another 6/4 parts. You know, now everything's the kitchen sink thing works, but not all the time. So I ended up cutting whole sections of strings out and brass out, so it'd alternate between them instead of trying to fit them together. But it worked out.
no, I think it worked out great.
Real quick. Angel King, now that everyone has seen the Cinder episode, can we expect a reaction from the newest OK Goodnight album?
Yeah, we talked about doing that, didn't we?
Sure.
I haven't heard it. I know Bruce
I've-
has.
No, I actually.
Oh, you haven't? Oh shit. Well then, yes, we will do
I
that.
have purposely not listened to any of it.
That had to be painful. I'm so sorry.
Well, because that was the other thing is when that episode came out that Angel King's talking about, I didn't recognize who that was or not because I hadn't heard the album yet.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I realized right away it had to be just like once
Yeah.
it got a little bit further into the song, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not a Jeff song.
yeah, yeah.
He's got a mark.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think we want to work that in. I don't know if Matt and Goose have heard it though, so I'm not 100% sure. But whoever
we'll check.
hasn't heard it, we'll have to just get a couple people together.
That'll work.
Mhm.
So real quick, to go back to like the process stuff. One thing that's handy in the world is that you have a lot of options and lots of price range wise options these days if you are a musical person for doing something like this. And one thing that I find really interesting is I don't think a single one of us uses the same DAW. So if you guys you guys want to talk a little bit about the kind of equipment, the like software you use, any of like the big equipment stuff that went into making this song, just so people that are curious about our process and see how like it really, like I know my rig is not that expensive. My software is 100% the most expensive, but I split the license with somebody. So
That's cute.
yeah, I do. So
why don't you start?
I use Ableton as my DAW. I have Ableton Suite. And I use just a Scarlett. I've got a 2i4 is my interface that goes into it. And then I use a Rode NT1A, which I think Sterling's got the newer, nicer version of that microphone. I got that one because it's got the lowest decibel background noise of any mic in its capacity. But Ableton Suite's expensive. The Ableton Lite, which does pretty much everything you need to do, honestly, to do the kind of stuff that I do. If you were just trying to record vocals and be a noob, you could get Ableton Lite. It would be easy. My Scarlett was like probably $120. My microphone was like $300, I think. But you have to remember, I sang, semi-professionally for a while. So that's basically, as a singer, I'm just gonna tell you this: buy a good mic because you get out so easy compared to the bassists and the guitar players and shit. Like 100%. Like it's just not even funny. So just buy a good goddamn mic. Get yourself a Beta to gig out with and get yourself a real condenser mic, period. But the only other thing I really use a lot of is I use a lot of Isotopes plugins for recording. Those are VSTs that you can use in anything you use, but I use Nectar specifically, the full version of Nectar for vocals. It's just really nice for compression and things. You can kind of visualize adjustments and see how things lay in the mix. But the one thing that's kind of hard, I think, is, and I think Paul knows, at a certain point you got to find, as a singer, it's hard because you've got a scratch track and you don't know how your stuff's going to lay in the mix. So you can't really do too much to it because I have to trust Paul to be able to make it lay nice in the mix, which Paul did great on that. And then Bruce did good when he mastered it. So, but yeah, so singers are the least obnoxious in recording, which is backwards from the real world, which is cool and good. So
who's supposed to be modding this chat? Because we've got some right troublemakers in here trying to get me to rap, trying to offer.
Oh, spitting some fire? What?
Do you spit fire? Is this the thing?
Well, it depends. I mean, the offers in the chat are just not near enough yet. They're well away. We're well away from a deal.
You need to pay him quite a bit more before.
Yeah. I mean, undying gratitude. A new cult in my name. I've got a few already, Gonna have to step it up, Rain. Come on. Which bass did Sterling record with?
Okay, so I guess I'll go next. So as far as the gear that I have, I've got my white Ibanez 5-string. That's what I mostly used on track. And then once we switched over to the iBurn section, I got my 4-string jazz bass, American. So gorgeous. And oh, those are heavy as sin. And as far as recording wise, I have a Scarlett 18i20 rack mount. And I use Logic Pro for all my stuff.
You got the big boy version of my baby.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's mostly all the stuff I use. I got a couple other new guitars that you guys are gonna hear on some upcoming tracks? Question mark.
Country, like a country music track, you mean?
Yeah, about that.
Calling you out, boy.
Still owe Rain or somebody a country track.
So, Paul, what all do you use?
Well, hang on. I want to know. I want Sterling to show us the shoe that he drunk the Baileys out of before he slapped the fucking shit out of that
Right.
I-Burn section.
Guys,
He channeled us in a Bootsy Collins, kicked a funky ball of tits from outer space off the mothership and just fucking blew it out the water, man.
Yeah, here's the funny part, and I do this. Let me take this ear out because I'm hearing double. Whenever I play something like that, I'm usually thinking anything except what's going on. So like I'll be at a gig, I'll be playing, so I'll be like, "Oh, that was an amazing thing you did. What were you thinking? Like, what were you doing?"
Where's the
I don't
bar?
know, I was thinking about dinner.
Yeah.
So even now, I don't know what the hell I played on the track. So I'll have to go back and listen to it. But
It sounds real good.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to tell you guys that I told Sterling and Bruce this, but you'll appreciate this, Paul. So before I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, I showed him, he had never seen Old Greg. And I showed him Old Greg and he was like, I don't get this. This is not funny. And I should have known then.
That session you
that
walked
was
out.
not good.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It happened just on like
Bye.
a month delay.
Yeah,
So
oh,
Sometimes you just got to read the signs.
yes.
But yeah, I'm cheap as fuck, honestly. Just the cheapest equipment I can possibly get my hands on. Because so Reaper's free, essentially, in terms of a DAW. So I've done everything in Reaper. I've got a cheap ass Behringer interface, a Workhorse SM58,
Hmm?
and then yeah, so there's a few of these things over here which maybe didn't weren't that cheap, but nothing special, Oh, I'm gonna admit it. There's a legend just entered the chat.
Oh,
Shut the fuck
this
up.
guy.
Hi, Jeff.
Salute.
Yeah. Get the old "We're Not Worthy" Waynesville gif on the go, Bruce.
I'm not running the video. You got to get Sterling to find that one somewhere around here.
Oh,
Hi,
Wild Jeff has
Jeff.
appeared.
Quick side note. I would have had a Strat sooner, but the only one that was available was a white, like the Olympic white Strat, and I refused to get that one. So
Oh, but that's
Which
the
is-
one from Waynesville. That's the one from Waynesville. That's
Yeah.
Excalibur.
No stairway denied.
which is why I got the silver Strat now. But
That's allowed.
So Angel had a question about
Yes, Jeff. We'll link
Yeah.
it to you.
no pressure.
I got it. Yeah, it's fine. It's not like I feel like I'm turning to my homework. It's fine. This is fine.